Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to a new video. My name is Evelyn Borta, and thank you so much everybody who has joined me on my other channel, who has subscribed, Esoterica with Evelyn, where I'm sharing tarot readings and then also collective readings as well. So thank you so much for your support, and then those of you that are new to this channel, welcome as well. I'm happy to have you here. So in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about this eclipse season that is approaching. We have two eclipses, one on the 25th of October and the other one on the 8th of November. And this is a very powerful, transformative period. It is a time of breakthroughs, and I thought it is worth making a separate video for that. And I also shared yesterday a reading, like a detailed reading about this period on my other channel. So if you have not seen that yet, then please watch it. Alright, so let's talk about the eclipses a little bit, because as I said, they are highly transformative times, highly transformative periods, both on our collective and then individual level as well. And eclipses are always like portals that are opening doors, and kind of like they are fast tracking the events that are happening in our lives. They are fast tracking us to the next chapter of our soul evolution as well. So that is why there are lots of upgrades. There's a lot of cosmic support that is coming our way during this period of time. And of course, eclipses are influencing us differently, and our soul evolution as well differently. So the upgrades are influencing and affecting us in a different way based on where we are on our soul journey at the moment, and how much upgrade and how much frequency our both physical bodies, but then consciousness as well, can receive, can hold. So the frequencies that we can hold, everything is based on that. And also, for example, a person that was born at the time of eclipses or eclipse season, it will be always affected very much by these changes, by these transformations, because we are talking about portals here. So eclipses are portals, just as equinoxes. They are organic portals, and they are holding a tremendous amount of energy, a tremendous amount of frequency that can support us. But because portals are always amplifiers, these amplified energies can bring very powerful changes out of our subconscious as well, very powerful conditionings and things that were hidden as well. So as much as it can bring very pleasant changes as well, and then karmic turns, it can bring up some unpleasant situations as well that will trigger changes. Okay, so these are amplifiers, and whatever we are putting our energy into during this period of time, or whatever changes we want to bring forth, that will get amplified. And that's why rituals are always important. And rituals can be very, very powerful as well during this eclipse season. So eclipses are basically bringing bridges that we have been waiting for, and especially if we have been waiting for big breakthroughs and our internal system and on a soul level we are ready for that particular change. The eclipse season can be really like a turning point. It can bring abrupt transformations that can be life-changing and can influence the energies of next year as well. And what can be also very specific to eclipses is that certain themes that were present in our lives during the eclipses back in April and May, they can come back. So very similar themes can be returning, and more of the story can unfold. So let's start with the new moon solar eclipse in Scorpio, that is also called the blood moon, and which, as I said, it's a portal. It's a very, very powerful portal to new beginnings, to new energies to come in, and then it also opens doors and forms new energetic pathways that we can start traveling on. So these new pathways can really open new doors and new possibilities for us. And what is very specific for this eclipse is that it will start reminding us of our soul's mission, of why we are here. And also it can bring some very fresh and inviting energies to start something new. So it can be all about planting new seeds, feeling inspired, feeling this new inspiration. And then Scorpio is a very sensitive water sign. It's about, again, like that rebirth. It is about going inward, is about going within and understanding deeper levels of our soul, is understanding ourselves. Scorpio is someone that is understanding itself, even though the whole world doesn't understand them, but they do understand how they work. They do understand their inner dynamics, their subconscious dynamics. And it is all about the connection to the higher self and to that higher level of understanding. And it can be also about peeling back layers of us and discovering new truths about ourselves. And sometimes even truth that is not very pleasant. This solar eclipse will be supporting us to finally do that peeling. Like whatever is deep within ourselves and we haven't seen, it will get revealed to us. But then I will be talking about November 8th, which will be an even more intense eclipse. So that will bring even more truth up to the surface. And what is interesting is also that Venus is very active during this period. And Venus is about beauty, is about love, is about money, is about relationships as well. So it can bring this very heartfelt energy and very harmonious vibrations as well. Heart expansion, giving and receiving, being more comfortable with receiving. So Venus is a very feminine energy. So it's all about letting ourselves receive. And then also finding out what is very true for us, what our values are, focusing on our true values and what is important for us really. It can bring us clarity to navigate challenges in our relationships. It can bring us this heartfelt energy and then this feeling of now it's safe for us to really embrace our feminine energies. And I'm not only talking about women, but I'm talking about men as well. And to let go and then to sit back and just to enjoy things without pushing for things too hard. And because of this Venus vibration, many things that are related to the heart, so that like heart dynamics can change. And we can bring in new dynamics as well, moving into a new chapter when it comes to the heart. Now, in terms of the collective and in terms of the societal things that are happening at this very moment, Venus doesn't really like to be in Scorpio. Venus is about harmony, it's about bringing balance. Yeah, it's ruling Libra, for example. It's about beauty. It doesn't like much conflict. But then Scorpio is a very inward and rebellious sign. It is all about the inner dynamic. It's all about death and rebirth. It is a fixed water sign. And it's all about secrets and the lies and then the mysteries of the world and the underground. So that is Scorpio. It can get very, very dark. It is interested in very dark things. And in order to understand those dark things, that's why it has to go inward to find out those things, to find out the shadows. Because if it understands the darkness inwardly from the inside out, then it can handle it in the outside world as well. And that is ensuring its rebirth, this energy of the phoenix, right? So Venus doesn't really like that. So there's a little bit of opposing energy there. And in terms of the financial system now, that will be felt because things really want to crash. They really want to collapse now with this financial system. But this opposing force of Venus, it will keep things in balance. So there's a sort of like a prevention of a big crash from happening in this financial system. However, I do believe that there will be upheavals and everything is pointing in that direction that yes, we are on that path already, that things are starting to escalate sort of, but they might not happen so abruptly because of Venus, because Venus is kind of keeping things in balance. However, we are seeing the housing market going down and it will continue to go down as well. And then we are seeing the dollar being super strengthened at the moment. And then other currencies going down, which is causing a lot of imbalance in the system. But without Venus, that would be quite dramatic. The consequences would be quite dramatic. Not to say that it isn't already dramatic, but maybe not as abrupt. So this is bringing clarity as well to navigate things, as I said, and it is bringing an intuitive understanding. This Scorpio influence is bringing this intuitive understanding of how much work we want to put into certain things and also into our relationships, because Venus is ruling relationships as well, and then love. Yeah, so harmony in relationships. So how much work we want to put into our intimate relationships as well, and then others, family relationships, and maybe a change in our approach when it comes to that effort that we are putting into certain things. And in case we need to release the work and not to put any effort any longer into something because it does not bring the expected results, or it does feel like it is in vain, then we might be releasing those efforts and those energies, and we might shift our focus to put energy into something else. So there's a cosmic support that is available to break through some walls, to have our breakthroughs as well. And then maybe things that were stagnating, now they can start moving really fast. So it can bring like these life-changing energies. And as I said, Venus is embodying this feminine impulse, this feminine aspect, feminine energy, nurturing energy, compassion, creativity. And then Scorpio is about this sexual energy, sexual impulse as well. The energy to stand up for what is right for you, for what feels good in your heart. This energy of wanting to, as I said, to look inward at our inner dynamics as well. So this combo can be really working in tandem and then great together. It can be a great combo as well. However, as I said, Venus doesn't really like conflict, and then Scorpio does not mind conflict. If it has to engage in conflict, it will engage in conflict, sort of. So that is why there's a little bit of opposing energy there. But if we use these two energies in our advantage, then we can really look deep within ourselves and deep within our relationships as well, and the other person. And because of that, if there's any repressed feminine energy that hasn't been expressed up to this point, the energy of that will be rising up. So that feminine energy will start rising up because of this combination, as I said, and it will be expressed. And we are seeing that in Iran already. We are seeing that, yeah, in those parts of the world that we would never thought that it would ever happen. So yeah, it has an elongated effect, this eclipse, as I said, and the energies can be really tripled, like the effort can be tripled. So in terms of the economy, because Venus is ruling money and is ruling finances, and then Scorpio is ruling the underground, and it's all about rebirthing, right? Because the ruling planet of Scorpio is Pluto, which is about destroying something and then building it anew. It will very much have the theme of the financial system being reset, like the reset of the financial system, and we will feel the effects of that. However, things will not kick in straight away, but then the seeds will be planted. And why the seeds will be planted? Because eclipses are amplifiers. If those that think that are leading the world and are in leadership positions, right, those that are pulling the strings, will use this period of time for planting the seeds, because they know that the energies will be tripled. So it's an occult period of time. Now, the other aspect of this eclipse, again, like with the Scorpio-Venus combination, is that Scorpio is rebellious. And why it is rebellious? Because it understands patterns. And why it understands patterns? Because it's not afraid to go within. It is interested in mystery. So Scorpio digs deep into things because it is interested to find out what is behind them. So it becomes rebellious when it finds out the truth about certain things. It becomes rebellious, it starts to rebel against the system. And because we have Venus that is ruling finances, there will be a lot of rebelling against the financial system right now and the cost of living. And I do believe that we will see more of that in the upcoming months, upcoming weeks as well. And then, for example, in France, like there are demonstrations on the street. There are people that are protesting against this rising cost of living. So I believe that that will be a thing, especially with everything that is happening and the escalation of the Ukraine-Russia war and the energy grid as well. So there will be some energy crisis that Europe is already facing, not only with gas, but then also with electricity. So even maybe blackouts. So yeah, there are some interesting changes and interesting things will be set in motion, so to speak. So there's a lunar eclipse then on the 7th of November 2022, and that is happening in Taurus. So Taurus, again, is the sign of finances, is the sign of energy as well, oil, resources, food, the food supply. So we might be seeing things as well escalating in that area as well. So like a domino effect, because one thing will lead to the other. So the energy crisis will lead to the supply chain disruptions and so on and so on. It is all interconnected. It is all orchestrated, by the way, but it's all about timing and then these planetary events happening, you know, at this time. And certain energies will start kicking, and it's always like that, are starting to be felt and to be amplified when it is the right time astrologically for those things to happen. They are like the right cosmic energies and the right cosmic support. So the lunar eclipse in Taurus means clear connection to the collective unconscious, and it is even more powerful and more intense than the solar eclipse, because those two eclipses, so these two very powerful portals are working in tandem. The effect will be felt in 2023 as well. So the seeds that are being planted now will start kind of kicking in, or we will start feeling the effects of those seeds, and we will reap certain things in 2023. And our nervous systems can get very overwhelmed in this period because of the over absorption of certain energies, of everything in the cosmos at this period. The seen, the unseen, the negative, the positive polarity, the feminine, the masculine, the good, the evil, and that can be very overwhelming for the nervous system. So we might be experiencing some ascension symptoms, what we're calling ascension symptoms, and our nervous systems can react to these unusual and very intense and very powerful energies. It will reveal shadows in our subconscious, our shadows that we have not looked at. It will beam the hidden aspects of our lives, things that we haven't looked at or we put aside. And because it happens on the Taurus Scorpio axis, our financial and emotional stability can be at risk and at disruption, and that will be happening on a collective level as well, what I was saying about the financial system. So it can disrupt our lives, but eventually it will lead us closer to our destination, and this is what is happening with humanity as well at the moment. And because Scorpio is a very sensitive sign and can get very emotional as well, sometimes it has very deep feelings, deep emotions. It might feel like we can get very emotional or even very upset and then disappointed as well. Or there might be some very negative emotions that are coming up in regards to our finances, to our financial plans as well, investments, whatever is related to that area, whatever is related to Taurus. So what's very important now is not to engage ourselves in stuff, in relationships, in anything that is triggering our anxiety or is getting us into this anxious state, but more like focusing on practical things. But then also when emotions are coming up, to acknowledge them and to acknowledge those shadows that want to come up, because eclipses will force us not to put and not to push aside those negative things any longer. Also, what can be happening during this period because of this Scorpio influence is that lies and secrets in relationships can also come to the surface, but definitely some mysteries that we don't know how to handle, or also like we will start to know how to handle mysteries in our lives, or not to be afraid to dig a little bit deeper into hidden stuff and mysteries because we are afraid, you know, of what we will find there, but then having the courage and being outside of our comfort zones to be able to do that. So we will see that as well happening more. We will see it in ourselves, and then collectively I can see that with the vaccines, I can see that with the liquids, things coming to the surface now, and people no longer being intimidated or no longer being afraid to look at those things more in depth. And even those that were affected by this particular thing, you know, by the liquids in a negative way, those people as well are starting to look into that and to be more realistic about what really happened there. So that's interesting to see as well, unfolding. All right, guys, so I'm not gonna do a card reading now because I already did a collective reading on my other channel, so please watch that. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for everyone's support, for your donations, for your emails. If you want to support my channel, you can do it on Patreon. I'm sharing more readings there. And then also, if anyone would like to book a personal reading with me, now you can do that, and you will find information about that in the description box down below. So I think this is what I wanted to share in today's video, and I hope it made sense. Please give this video a thumbs up if it resonated, and you can also share this video, this message with everyone who you think that will resonate with it. So take care, everybody. Have an amazing week, and I cannot wait to see you next time.